Why, hello, everybody. Don't mind me. I'm a little freaking. Wow. Stream. Wow.
Wow.
Everything's all messed up again because somebody had to turn on their camera. Finally.
Hey, that was about 10 minutes, bro.
Hello, everybody, and while Lord Thorin gets everything situated, welcome back to another episode of Grumpy Vets D&D.
God damn
Today,
sailors.
our wonderful group will be jumping into their first adventure on a new continent.
I'm on a boat.
They have sailed through storm, endured the harsh seas, and encountered something unusual along their journey. As they come up on this new land, one of the party members notices that there's an unusual wall, almost blocking their passage. As they bridge ever closer, they realize that this wall is almost disintegrating right before the hull. Not quite like a bubble, but more like the ship set it alight. And just as quickly as the ship passes through, the wall reintegrates behind them, reaffirming itself, and a new desert land sits before them.
We penetrated a wall.
You did indeed, buddy.
You're way too excited about that.
What,
Okay, and so now
penetration?
we're in desert.
Yes.
As each of you step out on the bow, please go ahead and make a perception check for me.
All right.
Damn it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm halfway decent.
And you want me to try to do that in roll 20, right?
No, you can go ahead and do that on your character sheet. I have your character sheet pulled up.
Okay. And you want perception.
Excellent!
What?
Absolutely.
Ooh. Do you see it?
I do. You made
Yay!
a 22. So you, out of the entire group, notice that there's a small town that you're traveling towards.
Oh, thank
And
God.
as you seem to approach this town, you notice that whereas where you came from in Echo Harbor, this town seems very subdued, very sullen in its prospects for growth.
Well,
Okay.
it is in the desert after all, so.
It is in the desert. Please give me one moment, as I am currently at home with my child. I have to take care of him. I'll be
Bring
right
the
back.
child.
Ooh.
Just remember, this is an 18+ stream, sir. What in the hell is that, Zach?
That is cool. What is that?
It's my little plate thing for.
Oh, rolling your dice?
Yeah, roll
I
my
like
dice.
that. Seriously? What is that? I can't see.
it's a grinder.
Oh,
And a
nice.
spinning skull.
I mean, for rolling dice, I have this glorious thing.
I don't think it's for rolling his
It's
dice.
not,
I don't
not
think
for rolling that kind of dice, David.
it's for things that are green and like flowery,
Like this
maybe.
bag. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
I got
check
you.
out the new coin.
My apologies. My apologies for that.
I apologize.
What?
My
It's okay.
apologies.
My apologize. Oh, everybody, if if we had a real ringer of one before stream started, dildo baggins.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
goodness.
awesome.
that was pretty.
Yes.
It's a cigarette cutter or cigar cutter. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Coin
to know
and
where you got
cigar
this
cutter.
stuff.
Whoever thought of that was a genius.
Somebody needs
Dude,
to
I have
step
one
up their
coming.
game.
That's also a cribbage board.
Oh no.
I
Look
can't
at
wait till
it.
that one comes in.
All right. So you alone notice this, Sally.
Uh-oh.
This town, while it seems very subdued, you catch just barely at the corner of your eye. You watch as purple, blue, red, and green, almost fireworks, are shooting around the town, zipping from one corner to another.
Now, are they hurting the town? Like, are they going into, like,
They're
the
passing
roof?
straight through walls and people,
Ooh, like a
seemingly
plasma type ghost thingy.
seemingly harmless.
Can I go play with them? Is
Please
that the proper question?
go
question?
ahead and drag your tokens
Except
right
for me,
here.
which the dungeon master's gonna do for
Yeah,
me.
I got it. I
Yeah,
got you taken care of. Don't you worry.
Oh god, this
you're
one's
the
even
best.
bigger than the last one.
I'm gonna bring the
Yes,
little
it
potatoes
is.
to come visit you before I head to Pennsylvania because you're like halfway. So get ready for little potato.
I'm not prepared for little potatoes.
Oh, you should be.
Oop, oh. God, this is a big map.
Right?
Yeah,
It's a very large map.
I want to go look at the bright, pretty colors. Um, and then I want to find a drink because that
So
fighting
as you
me
approach,
thirsty.
you notice that this port seems to have a very unusual entrance hall, which is completely barren.
Oh
There's
no.
nobody there to greet you. There's
What
no
about
one there
Kirkland?
to check the docket and ensure that the ship is harbored safely. This town
Maybe Enchanted.
has the kind of emotion that you would expect to find in a long forgotten harbor town. For those
Hmm.
of you that wish, go ahead and make an Arcana check for me. If that's not your particular cup of tea, it's more than understandable.
Wait,
We're supposed to make a wish?
damn,
An
that was bad.
Arcana check.
An Arcana check?
Yeah.
Okay. If this kills a puppy, I'm leaving, okay? I'm just gonna say that right now, but I'm gonna go do it.
It might
Hold
not
on.
come through.
Wow. Wow, Dan. Wow.
I'm rolling really bad so far.
So, Dragnerd and Fudd, you notice this right away. It seems that each item around the room has been enchanted with a very unusual uh, set of magic. A device likened to those that are used in the high courts. You actually witnessed one as you walked into King Hershey's assembly. A typewriter was whizzing away all on its own. Except that magic seems to permeate the air around you.
Hi, pig.
I don't like magic. Can't hit it.
Do I notice
Yeah.
anything? Or am I still
So
trying to
do we see these
Mm,
creatures, right, or whatever? Ghastlies,
There are no
ghouls.
creatures around you.
mm-mm.
Okay. Uh, yeah. Can I use my divine sense right now?
Absolutely, you can.
So that's 60
Okay, you
feet.
want you want
So we
it?
got all this stuff around us, right?
Come here.
Yep.
Oh, come here.
So what do I sense from the going on around me?
So, using your divine sense, you can detect good and evil, but you do not detect either.
Okay.
You notice most instinctually that while there is an abundance of mana around you, none of it seems to do any good or ill will.
It's
It
kind
is
of like
simply boxes being moved from one location to another. A pickaxe striking out in the distance, but you don't detect any human being.
Okay. Um. So it's kind of like the absence of any
You
like
were
kind of
noticing
teetering.
a distinct absence of life.
Okay. What about my companions? What am I sensing off of them?
Your
Can I even
companions,
do that? Can I do that? Oh.
you absolutely can. So your companions, you do notice that one of them seems to be strikingly good. One sits just as evenly with your surroundings, almost seeming to disappear into the background. One strikes you towards a more good alignment, but as you gaze more closely, you notice a gray shroud approaching that green, almost as if whatever they choose to do doesn't matter to them. And one that stands not as an emerald green, but certainly something to note.
I'm probably the weird colored one.
No, that's me.
Okay. Which
Just
one's the one that's like disappeared?
You will have to make a private roll for that.
Ooh. Private role?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Okay. How do I do that?
Just go ahead and roll a private die or the exclamation point key and send me a message with what you received.
I can only guess.
Is there a way to do that in the D&D Beyond or?
No, not for D&D Beyond.
Okay.
You got to do
And that
that
will be
in roll
a
20.
yeah. So a flat roll 20, it should be exclamation point key D20. I believe. Otherwise, you'll have to use the inlay. Or I can roll one for you. It's up to you.
Yeah, that'd probably be better because
All right,
I'm
give
not.
me just a moment.
That did the exclamation point D20.
Bum, bum,
There you are.
bum, bum,
All right. All right.
bum, bum, bum,
So,
bum,
what
bum,
would
bum.
each of you like to do now?
Me?
Of course.
Bring it in.
I don't know what he said, but that's what he wants to do.
All right, as you approach this very large, upstanding entryway, you feel something moving around you. Very quickly, your vision goes dark, and you disappear from the rest of the party.
Who?
What the fuck?
This occurs for each of you.
Oh, we disappear? Okay, as long as I have my little potatoes, I'm fine.
Do like I disappear to myself, like, or do I disappear to other people?
You disappear in total
Uh,
until your vision is cleared and you find yourself standing in a rather open square. Soldiers stand in front, just past the fountain, and behind you. Each one seeming on guard, but not particularly alerted to your presence.
Can I yell at them? Do they have a glass of water?
Absolutely. The
Excuse
closest
me.
the closest soldier just here looks towards you and says, "Yes, how can I help?"
I'm thirsty. Where's some water or a drinkable liquid that will not kill me, please?
He will, in a very swift motion, jerk his thumb back behind him and say, "Best place to get a drink is over there."
I'm glad
Before
it's his thumb he was jerking back because it was about to be really, really weird in here. Okay,
very
right behind
quickly,
him.
he
Thank you,
reassumes his
sir.
position guarding.
Okay, but I can get behind him to go.
No, very quickly, Chimmy makes her way over towards the local hangout. This
Yes.
shop that she's entered immediately, give me just a moment.
Bud, come on, let's go get a drink. Can he hear me? What? Now
So
look.
like, so
Okay,
like,
I'm the dungeon
can I
master now.
did I see you go over there or?
I don't. Okay, I am the substitute dungeon master because I said so. So I say yes, and all you have to do is roll higher than a 1, and we go over there and we see each other.
Oh.
Isn't that right, word runner?
I did not have my headset on for any of that.
Just
He said
say
I.
Just say yes.
He voted I.
I refuse to acknowledge, especially with this party, anything that y'all say, just say yes to.
Aye, sir.
So, Minsk, go ahead and give me an Arcana check. Same for you, Dragnerd.
I was just
Uh,
about to ask for that.
Jesus Christ, not this again.
Fud, go ahead and roll a perception check. Sally, same for you.
Nope, not this time.
okay. Let's see.
Finally, I got a decent roll. Oh my god.
Whoa!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It was a nat 20.
On perception,
Yeah.
not Arcana.
No, that was
Fud,
persuasion.
right off the
Fud.
bat, you notice that this square is permeated with magic beyond any level that you've ever seen before. The number of mages present is at its most minimum to ensure the protection of this town. You can tell that there are unseen servants working throughout the town immediately, carrying loads, moving crates, cooking food, and even pouring ale.
Loads.
Like,
You
I
can also
see
tell
them?
that you can sense them, cannot see them.
Okay.
You can
Alright.
also sense that the highest permeation of magic, my map move, the highest permeation of magic seems to be directly ahead of you, across from the square. Minsk, you can tell that there's a lot of mana being built up in the area. You can vaguely sense that there is some kind of spell working, but you can't tell particularly where it's being used. You can only sense that it is there in total. Dragnerd, you see 2 guards ahead of you beyond the fountain.
Do they look strong?
They look.
Can I like
Damn
walk
it.
back out to see if I reappear?
I was just about to ask if I could investigate the
As you
the
check
portal.
behind you, the doorway through which you appeared seems to have vanished.
So
I'm the only one that wanted a drink after all that.
So it's magic
Where'd he
doors.
go?
Sally,
Can I-
with your
can I knock on
perception
the-
check, you notice that there is a woman standing behind the bar. A very friendly smile on her face, but you do also notice 2 stiletto daggers in her sheath, a bandolier covered with small tubes with what look like wicks sticking out of them, and a hood pulled up over her head as she greets you to her shop. Hello. Welcome to the best eatery in all, and I mean all of the town. What can I do
Are
for
you
you?
the only one?
No. There's that father rocker beside me. But while he excels at ale, I excel at the finer thing.
Ooh, I might like this place. What are the finer things? Tell me more.
She very quickly pulls something out of the small brick oven behind her,
Ooh,
revealing a scalloped lobster, seared meat that almost looks like a claw, and something that you can't identify, but looks vaguely like a steak.
as long as it's not a potato dragon.
Titus.
She perks up at the mention of dragons.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
I haven't cooked a dragon in ages. The
There's
young
a
aren't
really giant
particularly
one
good.
outside that's kind of annoying, and maybe you could try to catch him. I think he's single too.
She'll point out her open door and say, "Out there."
Yes, out there. Hey, drag nerd! Drag
What?
nerd, I found a horse for you. It's a
Upon
horse.
hearing your voice,
Drag
the
nerd!
woman
You want
immediately
some ribs?
recoils Sally,
Oh,
shaking her head in disgust and saying, "Dragonborn are nothing like real dragons. The
tell him
meat
that.
is sinewy and tough. It does not melt in the tongue."
I believe that. Maybe that's why he's so grouchy. No one
Potentially,
wants to
yes.
eat him.
Nope.
He's
Okay.
got a new
Well,
toothbrush.
hold on.
Giggity.
That's a whole different conversation.
Giggity.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any beverages, madame?
She will very openly offer a hand towards the bar in front of her, which has contained several cordials, um,
Ooh.
ranging from a snowberry to a pear, each with its own unique label and the smells enticing to the nose.
I want one of everything. How much is that?
She'll look at the table in front of her and say, "I would say a good 5 silver should cover a sip of each."
Okay, I would like a sip of each of those cordials over there, please.
It's a
And a
lot of
water.
money.
One water.
She will gladly pour you a water, which is free, as the fountain in town also acts as the well, and
Awesome.
So don't pee in the fountain.
proffer each of the cordial
Yep.
bottles in front of her towards you, motioning for you to try whichever you like first.
Okay.
Minsk, while Sally is trying her cordials, what are you
This
doing?
is the best.
I am walking straight towards the guards across the courtyard, and I would just like to ask them, where exactly is this? I haven't seen this place charted on any map I've ever been able to access.
The guard will chuckle at you and say, "Well, it's very interesting that you would say that. You're in the Isle of Concrete, Isle of Knowledge and Mages. Town is errant
Woo! How
wind."
did we get here so fast?
He'll kind of point just over a wall at a sail that stands prominent just on the horizon and say, "Did you come in that?"
Yes.
"The Shield is one of the fastest ships on the ocean. It's no wonder you got here quickly, regardless of where you came from." I'm guessing he'll make a very quick look up and down you. "You came from Gaia. Largest town in Gaia is Echo Harbor, so I guess you came from there."
You would be guessing correct. I did not know exactly what ship I was on, but I'm glad to be on such a esteemed land.
He'll nod his head towards you, his helmet making a slight rattling. "Is there anything else I can do for you?"
Is there any way that I can request a meeting with the leader of this land?
With this, he raises an eyebrow very quickly, almost in awe that you would ask something so bold. And say, "What is your name?"
I am Minsk Hinskew the Third, sir. I am a trader's son and an excellent fisherman.
The guard in question will look over to his compatriot at his side and say, Hinskew, you're one of the ones that was sent over here to investigate the surge. King
Yes.
Leonda is waiting for you." With that, he opens the door very quickly and says, "Head through the chambers to the dining hall. From the dining hall to the lounge. From the lounge to the quarters."
I'm just gonna go ahead and start marching in. I think I'm just gonna kind of forget about everyone else.
All right. Give me a split second as I have to make a bottle for my child. For those of you that don't know, uh, taking care of a young child is very interesting.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
It
I'll be right
is.
back. I gotta grab a
Develop
drink.
character and nurturing skills and patience and all that stuff. All right, everybody, bathroom break or bottle
Yeah,
break.
basically. Take a
Bottle
break
break.
now while you still can.
We will be right
Okay.
No problem.
back soon, everybody.
Whoop. around. Guam's like a small island, so you run into everybody,
Yo,
right?
trust me, I know Guam.
Yeah.
It's
So
it's fucking.
it's
That's-
a nice time.
It's about as big as a pygmy's asshole.
Yeah. But it takes forever to get around because the speed limit is like 25.
It's they upped it to 35 on the outer ring.
Ooh. But anyways, so like I'm walking out of like where was I? Some like restaurant, I think. Or no, it was a bar, cigar bar. Walking
Okay.
out of a cigar bar, and like I see him and his girlfriend. And I'm like, "Oh hey, what's up, bro?" And I go, "Ooh," and just smack the shit out of him in front of his girlfriend.
Nice.
And then he left with the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were
That's
alive.
generally how that goes. And then and then they were alive.
Yeah.
Oh, by the
I'm
way,
still drinking.
the audio was hot during that entire story. Thank you, good fella.
That's good.
He doesn't care.
Oh. So, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that. For those of you that don't know, I have a 6-month-old that currently needs constant attention. He is sitting just past my desk and is currently upset at a bottle.
I'm upset too.
Right,
Did you say 6-year-old or 6-month-old?
6 month.
Okay. I was very confused there.
So, as Minsk makes his way into the chambers, Bud, what are you doing?
He's gonna come
So,
drink with me.
So while I like turn around and look at the door, like I give it like a little, knock, like, are we doing this? Like seriously, Like do I hear anything whenever I knock? Like is it solid?
It is a stone wall.
Yeah. Alright. Do I hear the conversation across the way?
You catch little glimpses. Go ahead and make a perception roll for me.
Ooh.
You go from epic success to what?
Huh?
Where did it go?
You do catch
Nice.
little glimpses of it as you watch Minsk head through this doorway and these guards take up position again.
So these guards are like visible, right?
Very.
Okay. And so I turned to the guy that pointed the bar out earlier. I was like, so what goes on here?
He'll shrug his shoulders, obviously very annoyed by the second
Yeah.
interaction of his day. Same as usual. People come, people go. Researchers blow shit up. It's a fairly constant cycle. We haven't had any threats in a long while. Probably 6 months back. So... yeah.
So who runs this joint then?
His arm points directly across at the 2 guards standing across the way from you. King Leonda. Leonda has run this realm for the past 40 years. He's fair, he's just.
Cool.
He doesn't take sarcasm well, which is why I'm out here. Any other irrelevant questions?
No, I wouldn't know why they call you sarcastic at all. And then I'd
Very
like start
quickly-
walking towards the end of the guy.
He'll very quickly take up position. So, this is the man here that you were speaking.
Correct.
So he'll very quickly take back up his standardized position, which is hand on sword, ready to draw, with his feet spread shoulder width apart. Dragnerd.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So I kind of saw menacing kind of go up to those 2 guards that I was kind of eyeing up later. So I'm gonna go over there.
All right.
Since I'm already in the middle of town, I'm like, hey.
As you approach the second guard, his blade comes free of his sheath, leveling it thoroughly at your throat. He asks, "What business do you have here?"
As I pull up my halberd and just slam it on the ground. I am a visitor. Do you always act so badly to a visitor?
With a very quick breeze of wind, you'll feel that your feet slightly leave the ground. Your halberd, the only thing anchoring you. Yes, even for a visitor.
Well, unfortunately for you, you just let my friend through that door.
The baby said no.
The baby very much said no. He
See?
worked his way very far down in his rocker. The guard, motioning to his companion, who you see is almost waving their fingers as you lower gently to the ground and say, "I'm assuming by your countenance your name is Dragnerd."
Damn straight.
He'll jab his finger very quickly behind him, sword still drawn, saying, "Through the entry hall, through the dining hall, through the study, into the chambers.
Is there
Get out
food
of
in
my
the dining hall?
sight." He doesn't answer you at that, but his compatriot opens the door for you, allowing you access.
Now that's service.
Sally, back to you. As you have started tasting these cordials, each one seeming to be more complex than the last, you are nearing the end of your tasting, and Fudd walks in the door behind you. What do you do
Hey,
now?
Fud. Fud.
Hello. What?
Fud.
I'm here.
Fud.
What?
Come try this snowball cordial. It's the fucking best.
Please, Sally, go ahead and make
Fud.
a Constitution saving throw for me.
I don't think I can in this state. You might have to do it for me. Hold on. Hold on.
All right, a
Hold
Constitution
on.
saving throw. So you actually have stood up fairly well to these cordials.
Oh, trying
While
to
most
work my
people might
magic.
not
Why are you
realize
telling
it, a cordial is otherwise known as a juice. It can be concentrated down through evaporation and added to an ale or similar brew.
It's still
However,
alcoholic.
there are many people that brew an alcoholic version, and these
This is
alcoholic
it.
versions hold a very high concentration.
Like the snowballs.
So effectively, Sally has been taking shot after shot of 80 proof alcohol and standing her ground.
Amazing.
She loves them snowballs.
Yes, they are the best. What's the other one? A pear. Come eat the peach one.
There's
Turn it
pursue,
around.
peach, snowberry, which, in case most of you don't know, is a cranberry. Cranberries,
See?
for the longest time, among many different aspects of people, was known as a snowberry because that's when they blossomed.
I like it. Bud, come try the snowberry, not the snowball.
All right, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Ooh.
Just smell it and drink it. I don't know.
But go ahead and give me a Constitution roll.
Okay. So,
Not a save, just a standard Constitution roll.
I'm gonna put some ribbon in Muffin's hair
So,
while he's
as
doing
you
that.
take a whiff of this, you can tell immediately that is a very high concentration of alcohol. This sitting about 86%, or that totals out to 172 proof.
Okay.
And as you smell it, you catch hints of the cinnamon that was used in a odd combination with the cranberry. You also catch a hint of orange and a spice that you cannot determine. Would you like to take a sip?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds. Is it like? Are we talking like clear? Like, can I even see this?
Yes.
So
Like, I'm
you
guessing.
can
Like,
see
it's
it,
actually right.
the bottle is glass, and through the green tinted glass, you see a red viscous liquid inside, slushing normally as you wave the bottle back and forth.
Okay. Like
Good
normal,
shit, bud.
like red liquid, like Kool Aid, like a
Thicker
Kool
than
Aid color.
Kool-Aid. Thicker than Kool-Aid, but
Okay.
yes.
Think of
Like
a
a pink lemonade.
port wine.
Much closer to a
Okay.
wine, yes.
Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah. I'll take a little sip. I'll take a little
As you
sip.
raise the bottle to your
Bud is
lips,
the best.
a very strong hand grasps the bottle from in front of you and says, "She paid for herself alone. Would you like to take a tasting as well?"
I'll buy Fud around. Fud, let's go.
Yeah.
Fudd, in front of
Okay. Yeah.
you stands a hooded figure, female with lithe, defined muscles, two stiletto daggers at her side, and a bandolier of what look like candles with very long wicks strapped to her chest.
Okay. Okay.
She's asking if you would like to pay for a tasting yourself.
I want to
Yeah. I'll
buy.
take one. Oh well, I guess she's buying. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I'll let
She'll
her buy.
she'll
Quality
hold up
stuff.
her hand and say, "Another 5 silver."
There you go. Woo!
With
We need some Purple Rain up in here. Where's the karaoke?
the world opened up to you, Bud, you have the opportunity to try each of the liquors in front of you.
Okay. Okay.
With your previous constitution, you also happen to notice a wonderful smell in the air. That of braised meat,
Okay.
scalloped seafood, and a wide variety of bread. Previously
Yeah.
unheard to you coming from Gaia.
The bread or
Yes, the bread. Go ahead and make a perception roll for me.
okay.
Am I just drunk in the corner at this time?
Quickly glancing around the room with the bottle in your hand, you notice that there are several loaves that seem much darker in wheat than those that you typically encounter. Things that have a smell that rivals that of even the best food you've ever had on Gaia.
Yeah. So that's a little bartender there. So what's going on with that bread? It never seems interesting.
She'll glance over towards the shelf which houses the bread and back towards her grill. She will motion at the bread with a sweeping gesture and then motion back at the grill and say, "Pick whichever you like of each, and I will make you a meal for which you've never, ever seen comparable."
I think she likes you, Fud.
Yeah, I mean I'm down like a clown, Charlie Brown.
So with the bread stores in front of you, you see everything ranging from an almost ghostly pale white up to
Okay.
a dark, almost charcoal looking loaf of bread. Which would you like to pick?
I'm gonna go with the dark one, because I get this, really like strong like liquor to go with it. Like you gotta like pair things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she
With the
will
secret cordial.
she'll move over to the rack with the bread, carefully selecting out not the darkest loaf, but the third from the end. Bringing it back to the counter, she then motions at her own grill and says, "Now then, what kind of meat would you like?" In front of you sits a wide variety, everything from very large prawns to large slabs of a dark red meat with nearly perfect marbling. As you gaze over it, there is one piece of meat that catches your attention. Would you like to learn more? For those of you that don't know, for those of you in the uneducated, would you like to learn more is a reference to Starship Troopers, which I recently started
Yes.
playing. It's wonderful. FUD, the question still
Playing?
stands. Would you
You
like
said
to learn more?
playing?
Yes, Starship Troopers Extermination came out recently. It's in beta, but it's a good game.
I have to look at that. Um, yeah, like what's that kind of interesting looking meat down there, and what's the area kind of known for?
So she'll pull up a rather large slab of what seems to be a curled tendril, seared perfectly on both sides, and as you catch a glimpse of the base of it, it has the perfect red pinkish hue on the interior, indicating that it's been cooked to perfection. She'll hold it up by uh some forger's tongs and say, well, was this was pulled off of a very unusual creature. Large, blue, seemed to swarm with its own children across ships. We had one of our ships
We
go out
know that
recently.
bitch. Oh, sorry.
And she'll glance over at you, Sally, and say, well, I'd heard that there was more than one of them, but thank you for confirming the information.
Oh,
With that,
God.
she motions a bottle towards you, Sally.
Oh.
It is
What
the
is it?
snowberry cordial.
Oh my God, I love her so much. Oh wow. Yeah, there was more than one, but they were like little. And then there was one big one, which is now I think that steak that you're holding. And you said that there's more that are like the steak that you're holding, or is there more that are like the little cockroach goo ball type?
She'll very quickly look at you, Fudd, and kind of nod in acknowledgement, saying, "This is the piece of meat that you'd like."
Yeah, let's go with that.
She'll nod very quickly, pulling it over to her slab and slicing expertly, very thin cuts off of this piece of meat, preparing these beautiful hand-laid slices on this darker piece of bread before turning just behind her, pulling out a large slab of cheese and slicing
I
the
need
same.
this.
While reaching underneath the counter as she's slicing this cheese, she pulls out a fresh bed of greens, layering it across the meat and then the the cheese before closing it up and placing it inside the oven. She'll wink at you
Mhm.
and say, "This'll only take a moment." While
Dude,
you're
you need to
waiting on
talk
your
like, man, listen to yourself. You need to be like a maitre d or just like talk all like that all the time for like foodies that have food issues. It'd be like, This loaf of bread, if you melt cheese on it, it's sorry, ma'am, I'm still drunk. Anyways, keep going.
While we are waiting on that, Mint, what are you doing?
Something boring.
I've made my way all all the way up to the throne room. And
That's
I
fine.
would
We're
like
having a
to
sandwich.
um I would like to just go ahead and enter, I guess. I think I've kind of accepted the fact that everyone else is somewhere else at the very least. Oh, no, never mind.
Do you knock?
uh yeah, absolutely I knock. I give 2 raps, just a cordial, just knock knock.
Very quickly, the door in front of you flings open. The soldiers standing beside it don't flinch, but you see that they are in a similar stance as the soldiers you saw in front, hands at the ready on their blades, almost in a statuary pose. The
Um
king in front of you motions you forward,
alright.
slowly waving you along. I
I'm
need
not
my
sure how
child to stop making so much noise.
I can't hear him.
I guarantee my mic is picking it up somewhere. He's making too much noise for it not to.
Oh, see, he needs a potato too.
He
If
does.
if I cannot hear it, then we're good.
um yeah, I'm just gonna enter and I guess introduce myself.
Bow politely.
The king waves his hand at you,
Curtsy.
almost motioning you to introduce yourself.
I know.
Sorry, hold on. My boss is texting me. um,
Sure.
so I would like to give a polite bow and introduce myself and Dragnerd, saying thank you for this honor, uh,
Air didn't it?
King. What's his name? I'm sorry,
Leonda.
Leonda, King Leonda. I am Minsk Hinskew the Third, and this is my companion Dragnerd. We are here sent on a mission to discover the source of a disturbance and to, at the very least, report back or hopefully uh, dismiss it.
I don't mind the companion.
The king gives a not bow, but a nod of his head, acknowledging your presence.
I don't know why I was considered
Welcome.
called.
Welcome to my palace. As I'm sure you've noticed at some point, this place is nearly devoid of life.
Yeah,
We
what the deal with that?
appreciate your presence. The majority of the people have evacuated to Gaia. Here we use magic to encompass our home and ensure the safety of our people. He will motion very quickly to his side as you watch a small parchment of paper and a quill glide across the ground before rising very quickly to meet his hand, open and willing.
Uh,
Are
oh, sorry.
you those that were sent by King Hershey?
Yup.
The very same, my lord.
He'll shoot a slight grin over to Dragner at his abruptness. I see. And you came on the shield, I assume.
Guess what the boat's name is? I don't know. It's a boat.
he will very quickly spin up a image in front of you.
Yeah, that looks about
This
right.
image seems to appear from nowhere as you watch yourselves fighting the gigant nymph and her spawn on the shield.
Yeah, good times. Good times.
Both of you go ahead and make an arcana roll for me.
All right.
Nope.
Dragnerd, you recognize this as a high level of magic. This is something that you've never witnessed before, but you've heard of in stories from your tavern mates. Minsk, you recognize this as an altered version of prestidigitation.
Okay.
Altered to the point of changing an entire room.
Wow. So this is basically an incredibly high level cast prestidigitation.
Yes.
Okay. So this is like 8th level cast.
This rivals ninth.
Wow. Okay.
With the detail of each clashing blade as the innards spill out across the deck. You recognize this as one of the greatest works of art. But you do have doubts as to how he has such vivid imagery of yourselves.
Hey, can you re-show the point when I just buried my halberd into the thing for a second time in the same spot? That was awesome.
King Leonda will show something between a grimace and a grin as he waves his hand once and the image disappears from in front of you.
Oh.
That is for another time. For now, you were sent here to reconcile this unusual activity in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, I thought we were at the middle of the ocean because we just kind of like we left our
Give me
our
one
land
second,
and
I'll be right back.
yeah.
The king will shoot a glance towards you, Dragnerd. Go ahead and make a intimidation roll.
Do you want me to intimidate him, or do you want me to make a saving throw, which would be
saving throw is typically insight, but this is two wills battling each other. So go ahead and make an intimidation roll.
Oh no. Damn, I'm rolling shitty on Duro 20 right now. I am rolling like shit.
Very easily with a glance. Dragner, you feel pinned to the ground. Almost like you've had stakes driven through your feet. As the king shifts his gaze from you back to Minsk, his expression softening instantly.
Hey, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. All right, because we left the land, we left Gaia, and then we went through some. We fought that awesome thing that you brought up, and then all of a sudden we're here, and it's
very quickly. A map appears in your mind. As the king motions his hand, he points just here. This is where that disturbance came from. Its power unrivaled. Something equivalent to the creation of a god.
Please don't reach into my head again. That hurts.
Commotion to Minsk. I have a task for you. Same as the task provided to you by King Hershey. Investigate the disturbance. Discover its source. And if need be, eradicate it.
Oh, that's the word I was looking for.
Regnard, you are still, as the king glances toward you, shooting what seems like ballistas at you. You're pinned to the ground under his gaze, before his vision slides back to Minsk.
Which layer is currently unavailable.
Will you accept? Minsk, that is specifically for you. The King of Concrete, Leonda, King of Mages, and currently the highest level magic user known in existence, is asking for your help. In order to ensure the destruction of whatever has been causing a grave disturbance for every kingdom on the planet.
Okay, hold on for a second there, Word. Hey, Dan, did you get any of that?
Oh no. His headset's bugged.
Mike was on mute. So sorry about that, everyone. I had a work emergency come up.
That's fine.
So you completely missed the entire thing between me, the king, and what the king is looking
rewind.
at.
That's fine. So, while you see your companion rooted to the
zoned off
ground beside
completely.
you, the king looks towards you. A soft but not gentle look on his face, almost pleading, asking you if you would accept the task of discovering what is causing such a disturbance. What is rivaling anything else that has ever come into this world? Something so grand, so powerful, in the face of this mage in front of you, the highest level you have ever seen, they are awestruck. Noticeable on every continent, even the furthest reaches of Gaia.
I think
King
I've already
Leonda is asking if you will accept this quest.
set in my mind, after King Hershey um, had essentially presented us with the same situation. I think I've already accepted in my heart that this is the quest that we are on, and no matter what, we will finish it. Or at least I will. And I'm going to nod my head in acknowledgement and accept uh, the task that he's laid before us.
Leonda will nod his head in acknowledgement, only accepting that you will take on this task. He will wave his hand off before stopping himself mid-motion and saying, "Before I forget, please ensure that you stop by our local shops. Many of these individuals hold craftsmen's skills unrivaled in any other land." Before continuing his motion, waving you off.
Of course, Your Highness. I'm going to give a kind of final half bow and turn around and make my way out of the chamber.
Jagnard, with this wave of his hand, you feel like you can finally escape. As this individual in front of you has relinquished his gaze from you. And you are finally free to move.
Bye. Yeah, that's right, everybody. I don't care. He's king. So what?
All right, Sally, go ahead and make a Constitution saving roll for you, or if you'd like me to make one, I can. Fudd, your
Yeah.
sandwich is just being finished.
I'm
Yeah.
drinking the snozberry drink. So
Sally, you are feeling very intoxicated. You cannot tell your left hand from your right hand.
that's completely fine.
You are currently fixated on a loaf of bread that looks like the darkest earth you've ever seen. Except there's one darker right beside it. Fudd, a sandwich is handed to you, and she says, "That'll be 4 silver."
I've never seen bread so
Expensive
black and
sandwich.
big
That's an
before.
expensive ass sandwich.
It is. Like, so, like, how's this sandwich like presented? You know, like, is it like cut in half, like diagonally with like
So
some
you
long
have
ass
I might have to
total,
listen.
a total of a 14-inch sandwich, wrapped very tight in what appears to be a parchment paper. But as it's wrapped, she inscribes something on it, and you watch as the sandwich glows for just a moment before she finishes off the wrap with a wax seal. The greens, abundant and present in the sandwich, do not overpower the meat. The cheese, sliced just thick enough to encompass both the greens and the meat. The bread itself toasted to perfection, baked by one of the highest skilled bakers you've ever witnessed.
Did he witness that bread actually being made, though?
No, he did not witness the bread being baked, but he witnessed it being toasted. She
Oh.
slides it towards you, saying, "The seal on it, once broken, will ensure that the meal lasts 30 days."
Ooh, okay.
That's you know what? That's one hell of a sandwich.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean,
So like I'm like reaching in my pocket or whatever to get these like silvers or whatever, and ask her like, so is that a normal like meat that you guys have here?
She'll chuckle slightly and say, "No, not quite. However, if you ever happen to kill a large blue beast, bring its corpse here, and I will ensure that its remains be put to good use."
would you
Okay.
pay for us to bring it to you, madame?
Yeah,
She'll smile
this is a
quickly and
good
say,
joke.
"I believe that for a full corpse, your compensation for the corpse alone will make up for your travels. This is not a meat you encounter rarely. It is something of
Don't give it to her for free,
a
bud.
acquired taste, and those that acquire it
We gotta talk.
tend to be addicted."
Tend to be what?
Did he say a dick or
She'll,
addictive?
she'll wave her hands off and say, "The 4 silver, if you don't."
All right, so I give her the hand over those 4 silver, and let's see, and yeah. So I'm like, so what else is there to do here?
She'll motion to the wall on her left and say, "If you have no taste in alcohol, you can always stop by my neighbor. He's a good friend, and he will treat you fairly. Just
Yeah,
don't show him that sandwich. And don't let him catch a whiff of my cordial on your breath. Although they were meant to be mixed together, we have an outstanding rivalry."
I'll be right back.
I bet
yeah.
they were friends and then they broke up. Is what I'm gathering, Fud.
Yeah, it's like so. you guys have a falling out? You know, was this
What
one big bar
happened?
before?
She'll wave her hands and
Ever?
say, "That is a conversation for friends. We are acquaintances."
That's a yes,
Wow.
Fud. I speak female. That's a yes.
Yeah. Hit me with the big A word, huh? Wow. Harsh.
I know as much money as we just spent it here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
She'll
What a
smile very coyly at you and say, "Just understand, he's a rather unusual personality. It may be difficult to get along with him, but if you do, you'll never find a better friend." With that,
okay.
she turns back to her grill, seeming to move both meat and bread simultaneously with deft actions only acquired through years of practice.
Hmm. Am I still looking at the bread?
Yes.
Okay. Fud, what are we
Yo.
gonna do now?
Hold on.
Cause
So, is there anybody else in this bar?
No, you are the only two people in the shop. This is not a bar.
this is a shop.
This is a shop specifically for foods.
Yeah, I got drunk on the food.
You got drunk off the cordial. Big difference there.
How much for that dark bread, ma'am? And then we're
Kind
gonna go
of
out
very
the
deftly
door.
lean out the back and witness you walking away and kind of scoff ever so slightly before she, like, not even turning her body, she leaned backwards on the tips of her toes, arcing her back to watch you
Uh-oh.
leave out the door before she resettles on her heels and continues her work at the bakery and the brazier.
Did I walk out the door and not even know it?
Yes. Make a
Oh hell.
constitution saving roll
He's
for me.
so annoyed with me. Okay, wait, what am I supposed to do now?
I got you. You are very drunk.
Okay, is Fud still with me or is this my
Well, I'm
imagination?
I'm still at the shop. I'm like,
Oh,
The
I guess
oh,
I'm
shopkeep,
okay.
sorry for my friend.
the
I'm gonna go
shopkeep
sleep
Yeah.
next to the water fountain
grin,
with the potatoes.
she grins at you and nods her head in acknowledgement before turning back to her task at hand, almost ignoring you entirely.
I guess this thing happens often. Gotta scoot. Nope. Where'd it go?
And we'll go to sleep by this water fountain. Okay. Y'all wake me up when we gotta go somewhere.
Dragnerd,
I'm ready to fight.
as you exit the palace, you come across the almost exact same scene, seeing the two guards across the way from you, the two guards that you passed, Fudd working his way towards a new building, and Sally passed out beside the fountain with two small, almost potato-looking objects sitting on her lap, giving off a very strong purring sound.
Right. Hey, guard, where's the smithy?
He'll point you off in one direction and say, "Just be careful, there's no smith present."
What? Okay.
He'll wave his hands in this direction over here, uh, pointing very avidly towards it before reassuming his attention position.
I'm gonna go check out the smithy.
As you enter the smithy, you notice blades floating across the ground.
Whoa.
Be right back.
You witness axes being hammered, and a unusual set of tongs being used to pull something out of the fire. You can either make an arcana or perception roll.
Ah.
With your perception roll, you can tell that just off a glance The blades seem to be honed to a perfect point. The axes designed to drive home. The piece of equipment that's being pulled out of the fires now seems to be in absolutely fantastic shape as you watch a hammer begin to strike it across the anvil.
I was just looking to see if I can find a new halberd or get this one improved.
As you approach, you feel something tug at your chest, but not your own chest, but the armor that you're wearing. It begins to tug rather avidly, your chest bumping forward every few seconds, stronger and stronger each time.
What's going on here? I just want to upgrade my equipment. Come on. Is there somebody here that I could talk to about, I don't know, improving my halberd, maybe even some of my armor? Come on.
With the mention of improve, you feel the halberd leave your hand, or at least a tug made at it. That tug getting gradually stronger as you go.
I let go of the halberd.
The halberd seems to glide across the floor before rising to the furnace. Its bellows steeping as you watch the blade of your halberd increase ever so slightly, the glow becoming a dominant feature for your eyes.
Ooh.
You watch invisible hands as they rotate the halberd, changing it ever so often, flopping it from side to side as the coals glow and ember. Adding heat to the forge, you watch a bellows pump and blow, pump and blow, almost in a rhythmic tune, your heart almost matching the pump of the bellows. As you spend more time in here, you watch hammers strike one after another, a clang ringing out in your ears, but also your soul. You watch as blades sail from one direction to another, just missing each other as they move, before your halberd finally comes out. With that, oh, Minsk is not back yet.
No, and his headphones off. So.
It's fine. You watch as your halberd moves to a position on the anvil. A flattened face hammer striking the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Before it's flipped, and the same process is repeated. You watch this process maybe 5, 6 times before it's added back to the heat, the bellows following the pumping of your heart. You feel something tug at the pouch on your side, a toolbox where you keep your coin.
How much?
The hand pulls at the flap, but cannot seem to raise the flap itself.
So I'm gonna take my my coin pouch off, and I'm just gonna open it up and be like, "Don't take all of it."
You watch as 3 pieces of gold rise out of the coin pouch and are held in front of you, almost for your acknowledgement.
Okay.
With that, very quickly the coins disappear down a small entry trap just beside the forge. As the door raises, it lowers just as quickly, and you watch your coins disappear with it. As this process continues, the hammer and slam, the reheating of your blade. You watch as your blade grows from a standard halberd to something that would almost be considered a long axe. As
Wow.
the blade is hammered out, you notice as the edge becomes thinner and thinner, rivaling a razor's point. Very quickly, the hammer stops, and you watch as the axe drifts towards a grindstone just beside the door. as you watch this blade wheel work almost in perfection.
So
You
sorry about that, everyone.
witness your axe being ground down to the finest of points, sheer, almost to the point of cleaving you in two. As the blade finishes, it rings with a resounding strike as it hits a tile just by your feet. The blade honed, hammered out to a rather long and extensive long axe. Go ahead and equip yourself with a mercy. My brain just took a massive dump. A halberd +1. Your prior halberd is gone. Your new halberd, strong and ready to strike, is prepared for you. As you watch the remainder of the forge continue working, you see a small stone kind of roll across the ground towards your feet, bumping against your right boot, then bumping again, almost as if something is preempting you to pick it up.
How do you change that to a halberd +1?
So you will actually, here, let me take care of it for you. You will go to manage inventory, you will search halberd, and you will add the halberd +1. So it has now been added to your inventory. The old one has been deleted, and you are good to go. Oh, I think I deleted the wrong thing. Oh no.
Nope, halberd +1 is there.
I think I deleted your armor.
Yeah, you did. While I'm in the smithy though, I do want to get my armor improved as well.
While you remain in the armory, you feel invisible hands tugging at each piece of your equipment, everywhere from your belt to your boots, even to your helm.
What helm?
It is up to you. So the go ahead and make an Arcana check for me.
Hey, finally, I got something in double digits.
With that Arcana check, you can vaguely see ghostly hands and the vague figure of humans moving about the forge. You watch as they tug on your horns, thinking that they're a helmet.
Those are not a helmet, dude. That's actually part of my skull.
Very quickly, you see the hands recoil, almost in shock horror, before it disappears down the same trapdoor you saw your gold disappear down.
But if you want to like improve my armor, and sure, here, I take my chainmail off and go. Here you go. Have at it.
Very quickly, hands catch it just before it touches the ground, and as they move around, you feel hands on your chest, on your shoulders, on your arms, as they seem to measure out what exactly you are. Very quickly, you see giant links of the chain removed off of your mail, as these entities seem to be assessing you. You watch as the item that was pulled out of the forge when you first walked in added to your armor. As they begin hammering it out, you feel a tug at your tool pouch once again.
I do the same thing as before. Open up my coin pouch. Open it up. Go ahead.
5 gold coins are removed.
Jesus. Okay.
As these coins disappear down the same route as they did before, you watch as these ghostly hands begin hammering out and fitting something to your own figure. As they begin hammering away, they're integrating the mail that you had before, every strike ringing out in the forge. Thud. And Minsk, you can both hear this hammering. Loud strikes, almost in asymmetric sequence with your heart. As they begin beating stronger and stronger, Dragnerd, you notice that the armor is beginning to take shape. Very quickly, it is moved from the anvil to the forge pumping in unison with your own heart. As you feel the blood move throughout your body, you watch as the bellows heave and roar. This new armor, completely unknown to you, begins taking shape. As it begins taking shape, you watch as this absolute beautiful piece of equipment comes to light, being quenched in the forge. Please go ahead and I will add it for you. Or perhaps not, since none of the things that I am finding are adequate. A
So as I'm walking
scale
by this
mail,
like tavern,
a scale mail 2 has been added to your equipment, increasing your AC to 18.
Nice. Well worth the
Your
7.
chainmail has been removed, being cast to the side. The scraps you see being melted for slag. Minsk, what are you doing now?
I think I would like to just roll a perception check to see exactly what else is around. I think I can very obviously tell that the forge is where Dragnerd is, and I know that there is a some sort of eatery or bar from where Sally first entered. But I would like to kind of just see
Go
if
ahead
I
and
can
make a
gauge what
perception roll.
yeah, see if I can gauge what else is around. That's a
So
dirty
with
20.
that roll, you notice directly to your left is a very unusual spot to see in any town. It's a graveyard. You see one soldier present mourning. Directly to your right, you see a tavern. Not necessarily one of large scale, but one that was designed to hold parties of people. Just behind you, beside the palace, you see farmers tilling at their work. You glimpse Dragnerd's shape through the forge as you witness blades flying all around him. Thud, working his way towards what best you could guess is an alehouse, and Sally is passed out just beside the fountain.
yeah, I'm
Um,
like walking like by it. So like, is the door open? Like open?
It's
I
cracked, but
also
it
rolled
is
a
not.
perception to kind of like look
Uh,
around.
so you notice that there is a dwarf inside, working across what seems to be a brazier. As he hammers something out, you realize that it's a band to a cask. He moves very quickly from one point to another, wrapping it around the cask as you're walking past. Sally, go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw, or if you'd like, I can for you.
Sure. You do it.
You are still very much past. You are the first person I've ever seen roll lower on each Constitution roll.
Wow.
Okay. I'm
Sally
just
is
gonna
still
keep with the
passed out with
potatoes.
several small potato-looking things on her lap.
They're
Thud.
healthy.
As you pass by, you notice that they seem to be breathing small sparks First time you've ever seen that from a potato.
Like an actual like potato.
That's what it looks like. Go ahead and give me another perception roll.
If anything happens to these potatoes while I'm passed out,
With this perception roll, you notice that there are small dragons, barely infants, lying on her lap, freshly hatched, each of them bearing a light brown hue.
one is freckled.
One of them with scales darker than the others, seeming to spot its body,
Yes,
particularly its rear.
that's right.
From your knowledge, these seem to be bronze dragons of the good chaotic alignment.
Okay. What's her like pet? What's pet dragon? Right? Little pet dragon, right?
So her small pet is just behind her back as she is
Okay.
leaning against the edge of the fountain. It has found a small spot of shade in which to recline.
Hmm.
Okay. So it's not doing anything with the little dragons.
No.
Okay. Okay. Like, huh? But like with that, like beating, like, what else do I see like around me? Kind of the
So
same as.
close to the same, you notice that there might be a forge, there might be a tavern, there's definitely an ale house that you just left, and you
Yeah.
notice some kind of farmland just
Okay.
just beside the king's palace.
Okay. Do I see any people?
Outside of the guards, you don't see any people.
Okay. Or any like beings, figures?
Go ahead and make an arcana roll for me. With this arcana roll, you notice that there are some things that seem to be out of place. Wheelbarrows in odd positions. Sacks of fertilizer by the farm that seem to be moving on their own. You notice by the fountain that there seem to be laps and waves that are unnatural for the fountain itself, almost as if they're hands grabbing for the water.
Like as I'm walking, do I like feel anything like ghost
You
head type
feel
deal
a
or?
slight chill down your neck, but it was only the once, just as you were passing by Sally. You noticed that there was the lapping of the water just where you passed by.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
Minsk,
Yeah.
we will go back to you. What are you doing now?
Um, I'm gonna be oddly fascinated by the presence of a graveyard so close to um what would essentially be a keep. Um, unless there was some sort of higher up sort of burial system here, it doesn't make sense for a guard to be here, and I would like to kind of go investigate.
Alright, so as you enter the graveyard, go ahead and make a perception roll for me.
Okay.
With this
Not great.
perception roll, you can tell that the majority of the corpses interned here seem to be of very high rank, and those that aren't of high rank seem to have very honorable valors inscribed on their tombstones.
Can
You
I?
notice 5 particular black tombstones, almost held at the center of the graveyard, rivaling that of even the large keeps.
I would like to get a closer look, but I don't want to seem rude. Can I approach the guard? Um, and I would just like to say, um, what do you say in a graveyard? Uh,
You've been in enough of them, you should know.
that's fair. I would
So,
like to
as much
approach
as
him and
everyone might laugh, please remember that Dan, or Minsk Hinskew, is my brother, and that was a real life
No, that's
analogy.
why I'm laughing. That's
I'd like
exactly
to.
why I'm laughing.
You can ask them, any one of them. You can ask the guard if any of them have rolled in their grave yet.
I'd like to just stand close to the guard as I seem. What does he seem to be doing?
He
Checking
is
you out.
Is he watching
is
over, or is
kneeled.
he?
No, he is kneeled
Okay.
beside this gravestone here.
Okay.
And as you see the flowers that have bloomed around it, he seems to be weeping, but obviously trying to disguise himself as just in a state of mourning.
I would like to just step beside him, no contact, and just simply say my condolences, sir.
He'll nod very briefly at you and then go back to the state that he was in, seeming to focus on the headstone itself. If you
Uh,
would like, go ahead and give me
I
an
was
investigation roll.
I was just about to say I'd like to see exactly what's up with this headstone. Wow, that's a nat 20.
Yes, it is.
Why is it not popping up? Okay, there it is.
As you read this headstone, you begin to understand why he is crying so silently. This man held one of the highest ranks achievable by a mage, rank 8.
Mm.
It describes his death in detail, as he fought to defend the Isle of Concrete from invaders. A large beast from the sea emerged. Though he fought valiantly in order to ensure the escape of his men, he died. His corpse is interned here at the behest of not only his men, but the Lord of Concrete, Lord Leonda.
Does it state a name?
Yes, it does. Harold Arkmain.
So this is. Do I? Can I roll a history check to see if I know? I'm assuming I do
Go
know.
ahead and roll a history check.
Okay. That's a 13. Do I have advantage because I know the name Arkmain?
You will have advantage.
Okay, so I can roll it again. Ew.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, no, not any better. So 13.
With your knowledge, you recall that Harold was one of the people that you grew up with. He is the cousin of the current guardian of Gaia. The
Okay.
Arkmain line has carried forth in defense of royals for generations. Harold was one of the last to leave Gaia in order to preserve the knowledge and memories in Concrete.
Um, can I? Can I use prestidigitation or thaumaturgy to create a? Well, is there some sort of symbol of honor that can be given?
There is. It is a sword with a crown resting on the pommel.
Okay, I would like to. Um, can I use that to inscribe that on his tomb at all, or make a
No.
floating? Okay, can I
You
use that to
can
make a
you can
floating sign?
create a small effigy on
Okay,
top of the tomb itself
I would
with
like
a
to.
small sword and a crown floating above it.
Okay, I would like to go ahead and do that, and just kind of not kind of bow my head in reverence, um, and kind of take a moment of silence towards him.
with your acknowledgement of the grave, that is going to be where we ended, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in on this session of Grumpy Vets D&D. If you would like to tune in next week, we will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Standard, sorry.
Woo!
Woo.
If you choose to join in next week, you will get to see a whole lot of story unravel. That being said, make sure and check out the About Me section down below. Go ahead and check out the Saves charity. It is a veteran and first responder charity focused on supporting those that have served us. We are open to absolutely every member, and we actually have one of the staff leads with us today, that being Lord Thorin. So, should you all choose to accept the invitation, go ahead to the About Me section down below. Otherwise, we will have to catch you all next week for a new adventure inside the world of Arkney Hollis, and potentially the discovery of a new land. Until next week, y'all have an absolutely wonderful time. Make sure and take care of yourselves.
Yes,
you-
sir.
See you all next time.
Same bat
Bye.
time, same bat channel.